I have my disguise on, my hat. I get approached 80% less in a hat than I do if I don't wear one, because I think most people on the internet have never seen me in a hat before, so I guess I've blown my cover. And it's kind of interesting because the hat doesn't cover my face. It's just a slightly different appearance that people aren't used to seeing. So by the time they work out, is that me? Is that not him? Do I want to go say hello and it end up being the wrong person? I've managed to escape using Aikido. But I've always found it interesting that you could, with a very small change to your outside appearance, deceive people as to exactly who you are. And I was having a conversation the other day about the fact that I've come to a fairly controversial view. And I don't care how crazy I sound, but I actually believe once and for all that there are genuine demons walking amongst us. I believe it. I believe there are demons who are feeding on the negative energy and suffering from unhappy people, who are amongst the populace, who manage to gain large swaths of control, and their primary objective and goal is to make us all as miserable as possible, because if they can do that, they can feed off the energy which is extracted from unhappy, negative, damaged people. They want war, they want sadness, they fear love, and I think they look very much like humans because they've made a few outside changes to the peripheral of their being. And people think, oh, they pass as human most of the time. But if you start to actually walk around, start to really pay attention to the people around you, you can spot the demons. You can see it. Don't let their little hat fool you. You can see who a demon is. Some of them actually make it extremely overtly obvious that they're demonic. They color their hair something ridiculous, or they mutilate their own body under the name of, I don't know what they're doing, affirming something. But some are slightly more difficult to spot. But I do believe that us as humans, we have this natural sense of danger. When we grew up or we had to survive in far harsher times, you could feel if a wolf was looking at you. And don't you feel that now? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I've just become ridiculously rich. I've become a billionaire and I've lost my mind. But if you were walking through a dark forest on your own and a wolf was looking at you, you could feel you were being watched. There's something inside of us that allowed us to know when a predator was near, so we stood a chance of fighting and resisting. And I feel that now all of the time. I feel like the demons are watching me. Don't you? Am I nuts? Don't you feel it? Genuinely go about your day now for the next 24 hours. Don't you feel like some of the people near you, that guy in Starbucks, the other person on the train, that guy over there, some of them just have bad intentions? Don't you think they're watching you? Don't you think they want you sad and miserable so they can feed off the negative emotion that you're going to expel into the universe? I feel watched, and I think the demons are watching me. And I know that demons exist because if you pay attention, you can see them. And a demon's primary goal is to destroy God's primary goal, of course, which is love. Which means the way you fight these people is via love. But then how do you make people love one another? Well, that seems like it would be an easy thing to do, but it turns out throughout all of human history, that's turned out to be pretty difficult. So you look at all this, and let's assume I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, none of it matters. But let's assume I'm right. If I am right, what is the solution to this entire conundrum? And the solution always comes back to basically the same things. It doesn't matter what problem you're in. It's going to take time and energy to fix it. Wouldn't you agree? And I have as much time and energy as a human can have. I am basically Superman. I am the top G, but I am human. So I need the time and energy of other people. I need a team. I need people around me. I need friends. I need a network. I need other people who understand what I understand. I need people walking beside me who can see the demons before I do. I need help. You can call them brothers, you can call them staff, you can call them a network, you can call them an army. But you need these people, and you need their time and energy. And what is time and energy of humans? Well, that is money. Money is nothing more than the stored time and energy of other people. $10 must be earned. $10 is worth X amount of time. $10 can get me X amount of time sweeping a floor. Time and energy of another human costs X amount of dollars. That's how money works. So to fight the demons, we need money. Well, we need the time and energy of humans. We need people to be spiritually aware. My money, and the fact that I have so much of it, is also one of the reasons you even listen to me. You're only watching this video because you know I'm a billionaire. If I didn't have Ferraris and a yacht and a jet, and I wasn't in crazy locations, traveling the world, if I wasn't attacked by the Matrix, the demons themselves trying to silence me, if none of this was happening to me, if I was some brokey, you wouldn't be paying attention. So again, my money allows me to speak to you and make it clear to you that no matter where you are, you can be in Chicago, Illinois, you can be in Miami, Florida, you can be in Rio de Janeiro, you can be in Bangkok. Today, I want you to walk around and look at the people around you, and I'm telling you, you will see what I see. Call me crazy if you want, don't care. There are demons amongst us, and it is their primary goal to destroy the fabric of society, because the base fabric of society always has been and will be, to a degree, love. You love the people around you, or you love the place you live. You love the beautiful surroundings. You love nature. You love the animals. You love God. You must love something. If you love truly nothing, then it's over. And they can turn us on each other with endless hate. And I talk about this, and I tried to have the conversation with the guy, and it was all over his head. And he just said, I'm crazy. I've lost my mind. I have too much money. And it's kind of a sad revelation, I think, that when you talk about something as spiritual as demons walking amongst us trying to destroy humanity, the only answer I can come up with to fight against them is money. Because it's a spiritual battle, right? And I'm coming up with the root of all evil as solutions, money. But I don't think it's the root of all evil. I think a lack of money is the root of all evil. And I don't think being broke is going to help me fight the demons. Perhaps the Ghostbusters might appear and they'll sell me one of them photon packs, and I know I'll be able to afford one at least. So I'll have me and my team will be photon packed up. But I guess this is just a quick conversation for you to understand that if you see what I see, and if you agree with what I'm saying, then of course you need God. Of course you need to love as many people as possible, be nice to people, help people. Of course you need to awaken people, tell other people who are prepared to listen the truth about what's happening. Of course, when you see or spot a demon, you need to be prepared and understand that person does not have your best intentions at heart. You need to approach society understanding that a certain percentage of the populace are demonic and their primary goal is your unhappiness. And you also need to get some money, because I think that the poor will be far easier to enslave than the rich. Because the poor will sell their souls for money. And the poor will do bad things for food. And the poor can't leave or run away. They're stuck in a geographical area. It's the Hunger Games. The rich, well, a demon can talk in my ear and try and make me say bad things to my huge platform for food. And I don't need it. Or for money. And I don't need that. Let me tell you a hypothetical story, because I would never kill myself. When I became the most Googled man on the planet, hypothetical. A hypothetical story. Let me tell you an imaginary story. There's a man who came from nothing, and through his unmatched perspicacity and sheer indefatigability managed to conquer the entire earth and become the most Googled and respected human on the face of the planet. This man held massive affinity with the masculine youth. The masculine youth was the number one subsect of the population that they try their hardest to psyop. These men are needed to be slaves. They must build the roads. They must die in wars. They do not want the masculine youth to know the truth. These are the ones they must psyop the hardest, because if they get together in a big group, understanding how corrupt and deranged this world is, revolutions happen. It's not a demonstration when men get angry. It's a revolution. It's only a demonstration when women get angry. So in this hypothetical scenario, when this person became massively influential, he was approached with a sponsorship contract, it was called. And for this sponsorship, he'd get $50 million. And he'd have official opinions, official views, which he's only allowed to say. On certain subjects, he would take certain positions, certain sides. There would be certain topics he was not allowed to talk about at all. He'd even dress a certain way. You know? A little bit more fruity. And the goal was, in this hypothetical scenario, is that this person who came along and inspired hope to combat the demons would sell his soul for $50 million, and he'd change teams, and he'd be sponsored, and he'd be protected by the media, because when you're sponsored by a very large company, the media doesn't attack the poster child of the people who fund them. Please understand, you have a newspaper, there is a company which pays millions in advertising to this newspaper, so this newspaper cannot attack the poster child of that company, because then they'll cut the advertising. So you're protected by the MSM. The media won't print bad things about you anymore. In this hypothetical scenario, if this person would have agreed to this deal, the media wouldn't have slandered him every single day for 365 days, lying about him, saying he's a human trafficker when he's done absolutely nothing wrong. But when their own people inside of their own organizations get caught committing sexual crimes, it's forgotten in a single day. Let alone 2 years down the line. Endless matrix attacks. Endless matrix attacks. Demonic. The demons would come along to this man and they would try and offer him money for him to sell his soul. Now, if he had money, he might say no. If he had money, he might say yes. I guess it depends how pure his heart is. But if he had no money, it would sure be a lot more tempting. And I think if you're watching this video and you understand what I'm saying to you, you're going to understand that as you progress through life, as you reach the highest echelons of masculine capability inside of the matrix, there's going to be times you have similar conversations. If you're ever fortunate enough to end up anywhere near my level. If you're unfortunate, you're going to stay a nobody forever. But if you're fortunate, you're going to get to a point where someone's going to sit you down and say to you, the demons want you on their team. And the demons are going to offer you this. And the only way you're going to be able to truly resist in your heart and make sure that your family is fed and make sure you can resist lawfare and afford lawyers and afford to go to jail and feed your mother and your kids while you're sitting in a cell because you stuck to your principles is to have money. So although it seems like a very shallow answer, I believe that getting rich is one of the best things you can possibly do to help save the world.